Hey everyone, coming up tomorrow we have 49 metro races around Australia. So it's the beginning of these big, roughly 50 metro races on a Saturday. So I thought it was a good opportunity to just go through the feature races tomorrow and share with you my thoughts on the winning chances in these races. So the headline meeting is from Caulfield. So you can see the meetings right here. Caulfield, 10 races from there, 3 Group 1s, the Might and Power in race 6, the Toorak in race 7, and then the Caulfield Guineas in race 8. Also a couple of Group 2s and Group 3s throughout the card there. 10 races from Rosehill, headlined by race number 8. It's pretty big prize money day at Rosehill. You can see $2 million, $1.5 million for a couple of the races there. So there's big fields attracted to that. Eagle Farm is the Brisbane meeting, Murray Bridge down in South Australia, and then 10 races from Ascot over in W. So what I want to focus on in this video is races 6, 7, and 8 from Caulfield, and give you a little bit of an insight into my process of analyzing races and how I go through and determine which horses are winning chances and which horses aren't winning chances, which in Group 1s generally isn't like the most simple thing to do because a lot of the time they're really good horses lining up against each other. So you have to be really definitive in your analysis to determine this horse has a low percentage chance of winning this race or no chance, and to be able to rule it out. So that's what I'm going to give you an insight into here. So we'll start with race 6. That's over the 2,000 meters, the Might and Power. And this race only has 4 runners in it now, with the scratching of the one light infantry man. That horse is running in Sydney at Rosehill in race number 8. So number 5, Treasure the Moment, is favourite. It's a horse that's never missed its top 2 from 13 career starts, 10 wins, 3 second placings. Third up now this preparation, coming off a second placing at the Valley behind Pride of Jenny last time out. Pride of Jenny led all the way. Marks was on board Treasure the Moment in that race with Damien Lane out. Lane links back up with Treasure the Moment here. He is 7 from 7 on board. This horse has also gone 3 from 3 at Caulfield and 2 from 2 at the distance, stepping up to the 2,000 meters now this preparation. Buckaroo is second favorite in the race, gets James McDonald on board for just the second time in this horse's career and has had 29 starts with the Waller Yard. The last time McDonald rode Buckaroo was back at the Gold Coast at the end of last preparation in the Group 2 Hollandale Stakes, where it finished 10th and was a $4 chance in that race. Buckaroo is racing well this preparation, kicked off with a third behind Treasure the Moment, beaten 3 lengths there, and was giving Treasure the Moment 2.5 kilos in that race. Has to give it 3 kilos this time around. They met over the 1,400 meters in that race. Keep in mind, Buckaroo was a $61 chance at that time, and obviously not suited over the 1,400. Stepped up to the 1,800 last start when loomed up, went past Sir Delius, and Sir Delius kicked back underneath, thankfully for us, and was able to get the win. Sir Delius raced last week and ended up winning the Turnbull, so a really good form reference there. Sir Delius had a tough run in that race as well. So good form line, beat home Antino via Sistina as well. Those two are like hold the top of the market. The other two in the race, third is Globe, who Blake Shin comes off Buckaroo onto Globe, with McDonald going on to Buckaroo, and Globe will run them along out in front and give them something to chase, and then you have He's a Shocker as the real outsider in the field. This race being over 2,000 meters, they start just out of the home straight, so the early part of this race is on the bend, which doesn't really matter that much in a 4-horse field. If you're looking at a 2,000 meter race and there's 12 or 14 runners, then it definitely matters if you're drawn out in barrier 12 or something like that. But from this starting position with this size of the field, it doesn't really matter as much. In my opinion, the winner is going to come through Treasure the Moment or Buckaroo. Those two definitely stand out. I think with Treasure the Moment, it had a little bit of a setback going into that last race at the Valley End. Definitely didn't lose many admirers in behind Pride of Jenny, with almost a 4-length margin back to attrition, who finished third in that race. Treasure the Moment went around $1.50 favorite, and that night, like, Pride of Jenny always does lead them along, go pretty quick, but the track was also favoring leaders. Treasure the Moment did have that colic setback going into that race as well, so there were a few excuses. Was almost about 4 weeks between runs, bar a day. and so it comes into this race with a shorter time frame in between runs, just over 2 weeks this time around. I do think Treasure of the Moment is the deserving favorite. Buckaroo, obviously a danger. I don't think Global, he's a shocker, can win. I think the market has it right here with Treasure of the Moment as favorite, and I do expect it to be winning this race. I think Globe running along out in front will give Damian Lane a bit of a bunny to chase, but not quite as difficult as Pride of Jenny was for it last time around. And third up, I expect Treasure of the Moment to bounce back to her best. Race 7 is the Toorak over the 1600 meters. I won't spend a great deal of time on this race because I do think it is one with a number of chances. I just want to talk about the runs horses have had leading into it. Firstly, this race is over the 1600 meters where they do have a fairly short run before getting to the bend, so barriers do matter a little bit more in this field, but majority of the chances in the race have all drawn right in the center, which from the 1600, barriers 4 through to 10 are ideally where you want to be. So that does suit the majority of the field. The current favorite, Sepples, number 5, is 2 from 2 this preparation. Broke through for its first Group 1 win last start. Craig Williams was on there, only had the 52 kilos, but did have barrier 14 or 15 to deal with. Was wide early, eventually worked his way across, kicked clear, and was able to win pretty dominantly in the end, just under a length margin. You had Miss Rumbini in second, and then Feroce in third. Miss Rumbini is up in Sydney, but Feroce lines up here as a $13 chance, draws out in barrier number 8. Billy Egan sticks with this horse, and he's ridden it in every one of its career starts so far. Third up now coming into this race. Draws slightly better than last start. Up to the 1600 is obviously the question mark for Sepples. It's only had the one career start over this distance, which was in a Group 1 at Flemington, which was the race won by Feroce, where Feroce was up on speed. Sepples ran on, but couldn't quite get there. I think for Feroce to be winning this race, they need to implement slightly different tactics and look to roll forward and be a bit more positive, because I don't think they can run down Seps with that momentum. So the map is going to be very interesting early on here. The one to beat, there's not a huge amount of value. It's currently, as I'm recording this, into about $3, which I do think is on the short side. I think you want to be taking closer to the $4 about it if you are to back it. Evaporate, number 3 for Blake Shin, and number 6 Transatlantic, both come out of the same race at the Sandown on the hillside last start. That was in a Group 3. There was 0.1 of a length between them. Evaporate winning that, Transatlantic getting up along the inside, but just missing in a close finish. Don't think there's going to be much between them again. Right now, they're basically at the same price, with Evaporate being drawn better. You could obviously lean that way a little bit, but yeah, don't think there's going to be a great deal of margin between the two of those. Then the other form line you have coming into this race is the 7 Lazuro, who won last start in a Group 2 at Flemington, beating O2 Good and Abounding. O2 Good does go around earlier in the day in race number 4, so that'll give you a following form reference for Lazuro into this. O2 Good did run poorly at the Valley in between. Abounding, who ran 3rd in that race against Lazura, ran well in that Valley race, but O2 Good finished well out of it. But I think it was more a victim of circumstances. They just went far too hard up in front in that race, which left O2 Good exposed late for horses running on. But Lazura, I think, just had everything fall into place perfectly to win at Flemington. Could potentially get a similar setup here, but is going to have to go to another level up to the 1600, and also stepping up in grade into this. So I'm slightly against Lazura, but definitely can't completely rule it out with the McDonald-Waller combination. But I just think off last start is going to have to improve. Again, like a Lucy, ran 4th behind Lazura in that race, was ridden by Jai McNeil that day, gets Damian Lane on here and drops 4 kilos. So with that 4 kilo weight drop, gets a 2.5 kilo weight swing on Lazura, who won. But Like a Lucy drawn tricky out in barrier number 10 this time around. Keep in mind though, Like a Lucy was first up into that race, where Lazura had the fitness edge going into it second up. I think the biggest thing for this race and the eventual winner of it is going to come down to, firstly, how well Seppel jumps. If it's clean out of the barriers and then doesn't cop too much pressure out in front, then it's definitely going to be hard to beat. But being a Group 1, you do expect them to want to roll along. It doesn't always happen. I've seen plenty of Group 1s over the years where they'll let a horse just lead, be comfortable out in front, nobody will apply any pressure, and they won't be able to get to that leader in time, and it'll win the race very softly. I doubt that's going to be the case here, but like, you do have Evaporate who'll roll forward with, and then I think the biggest question mark is Feroce. The tactics from Billy Egan is going to be key here. If Feroce goes forward, that puts pressure on Seppel. Evaporate up there, it could set it up for something just in behind. Also, with Caulfield tomorrow, the track is currently a good 4, potentially could come into a good 3 with the weather, depending if any of the showers hit, but it's unlikely. And then there is a little bit of wind around as well, so that could also be favoring horses up on speed. So that's why I say if Seppels and Evaporate are up out in front in this race, and the track is favoring on speed horses, then I think those two are going to be very hard to run down. And then the main race that I want to talk about, this is probably the most interesting race of the day and has the biggest prize money. It's a $3 million race, 1,600 meters. You have the Waller combination of the 2 Woden and 9 Autumn Boy currently favored or equal favorites. There has been a bit of a move for Autumn Boy this afternoon, and Woden is held at that 420, 440 price range, but Autumn Boy's moved in from the 440 into $4 is currently best available. Those two both come through the Golden Rose up in Sydney. Woden ran second in that race behind Baywalk, who led all the way. McDonald got the box seat from barrier number 1 on Woden and finished in second, but was beaten over 4 lengths. My concern for the Golden Rose, now obviously it's the number 1 form reference for this race with those horses coming down, so you can understand why Woden, Autumn Boy are at the top of the market. My concern with the race is Baywalk led and won, but ran very well in doing so. Woden had the box seat, so that's your next best position, particularly with how Rosehill was playing that day. And then Tempted, who ran third in that race, was able to virtually get the 1 out 1 back position in the run, and ended up being given a good ride by Ethan Brown. That horse ran into third. So effectively, the 3 horses that had the 3 best runs in the Golden Rose ran 1, 2, 3. And in my opinion, that's just a little bit concerning. Woden drew here, 4th up, first time at the 1,600, and last start was given every possible chance to run out the 1,400 meters strongly. Also had blinkers on for the first time there as well, but just wasn't really strong through the line. Was just gripping on for second ahead of Tempted. Then you have Autumn Boy, who comes through that same race. First up, ran home behind 60s, giving that horse weight. 60s led all the way. And then in the Golden Rose, finished 7th, beaten about 8.5 lengths behind Baywalk and 4 lengths behind Woden. Autumn Boy, though, was caught 3 wide the trip from barrier number 7. So did have a really tough run. Definitely wasn't in the place you wanted to be in that race, and draws barrier number 1 this time. The key with Autumn Boy's chances in this race is, firstly, from the inside gate, how close Damien Lane is able to settle this horse, but keep it without being too close where it takes away the sprint. Obviously, this horse generally settles midfield. If he does end up getting too close, then it might not be able to accelerate the way that it has in previous runs. But then also from the inside gate, you don't want to end up too far back. You don't want to be 3 or even 4, 5 pairs back on the fence with a lot of traffic to navigate, because getting clear from there was going to need a lot of luck, and then you potentially could run out of time by the time that you get into clear running. So Autumn Boy, in my opinion, is going to need a very good ride. If Damien Lane nails the ride here on Autumn Boy, then it's definitely a big chance of winning this race. Then another form reference that comes into this race is through the Valley race, which was won by West of Swindon, who's number 5 in this race. Draws barrier 16 this time around. 2 back, ran at Flemington, went second to Vinrock, and Vinrock was giving it 2.5 kilos in that race. A dominant win by Vinrock, settling outside the lead, and then went to the Valley last start. We'll get to it in a second, and Ben Mellum gave West of Swindon an absolute dream run out in front, and was able to hold on and win, and just gave it every possible chance. Romantic Encounter finished second. That horse was outside the lead in that race. and it also lines up here as a $31 chance. Not super keen on either of these runners. They're both drawn somewhat poorly into this race, and West Swindon was given an absolute picnic out in front last time, and the ride effectively in the way they're able to control the race out in front was the difference. Now, Vinrock started, who's number 3 in this race, $1.65 favorite at the Valley that night, buckled at the start from barrier number 8, got caught, had to go straight back from there, eventually was able to tuck in, but wasn't calm through the run, was over racing, not doing things correctly. And then as they were coming up towards the bend through the 600, Mark Zahra pulled out 3 wide and was somewhat tracking into the race. Keep in mind, this race was won by the leader, and second place, an outside lead, ran second. Vinrock then, as they came into the home straight, when the Valley is only a very short home straight, Vinrock was held up in behind horses, had to take a split, and then was okay through the line. Eventually got the margin back to about 3 lengths, but never obviously a winning chance from what happened at the beginning, how it traveled in the run, and then the being wide and copping interference. Now, Vinrock was $1.65 in that race. This time around, currently best available is $9.60, but just call it $9.50 right now. Vinrock, barrier 14 is the interesting part about this race, because if Vinrock jumps well 2 back at Flemington, where it was drawn wide over the 1400, which is a terrible starting position to be drawn wide at, jumped with him that day, Mark Zahra rolled forward and ended up settling outside the lead and ended up being a dominant winner. The Winkers came off going into that Valley run last start and was slow away. They go back on here. Potentially that could be the difference, because if Vinrock jumps with them and then Zahra rolls forward, which he should be able to do, particularly when you look at the speed map for this race, and he has Romantic Encounter drawn directly underneath him, that horse is going to give him a lovely cart across to a spot up on speed. West Swindon drawn outside, it'll have to come across. The only other runner that is a leader or a horse that really wants to be in the forward first few in the run is Observer, who Mark Zahra jumps off, who's coming out of the midweeks, finishing second. It's coming out of a benchmark 66, and that's the only other runner that has previous races where they've rolled forward. However, first up, this preparation over the 1300 at the midweeks, they settled back in the field and didn't use early speed like they did in this horse's opening campaign. So on paper, there technically doesn't look to be a lot of speed, and I think that sets it up. So Vinrock, if it jumps cleanly and can roll forward and they don't go back, then it's definitely a big chance at the $9.50. The other runner in the market that I just want to mention is a runner who comes through the win at Sandown, which is number 8, Navy Pilot. First up, down the straight at Flemington, ran second to Legacy Bound and hit the line well from last in the run there, but it was a straight race, but did close off well. Tycoon Star comes out of that race as well. So it's a pretty good little Flemington 1100 meter race. Stepped right up to the 1400 last start and was given a really good ride by Logan Bates, hit the line well and was able to pick up the cash late to get the win. Now up to the 1600, off the way that it hits the line, this horse does look to be a real line chaser, which you like to see. Does look really good. However, rises all the way from an open race right up to a Group 1 and has to carry 57 kilos again for Jamie Carson. Not really an ideal situation here for Navy Pilot. Will get a good run from barrier number 2, but will need to definitely go to a whole nother level in order to be winning this race, particularly without getting any weight advantage. So overall for this race, I do think the main 2 chances are between Vinrock and Autumn Boy. I think the number 2 Wotan is just a little question mark at the 1600, and also Navy Pilot is a big step up and not really all that well suited. But I like to see them roll forward on Vinrock, get out of the barriers clean and take a spot up on speed, and then whether Damien Lane can weave his way through from the inside gate to be able to establish a position. But a decent race overall, not a fantastic Guineas where you've got horses that are racing really well coming into it by any means, and that's just where we're at the moment. But yeah, sets up to be a good race overall, and potentially with what the odds are right now, does set up to be a really good betting race. So that's my current thoughts on those 3 Group 1s, but obviously they're just 3 of 49 races that we have to choose from tomorrow, and you you definitely don't want to go ahead and bet into all those races. You want to pick and choose the best ones to bet into. For me personally, it's a pretty heavy betting day tomorrow. I have 25 betting races, which is about 5 more than normal for a Saturday. Usually a Saturday is between 18 to 21 bets, but we have 25 tomorrow. I had more than that shortlisted as my first run through, but I've cut that down now to 25 selections. Those are posted in the members area, which you can access through the link in the description. Remember, till the end of this weekend, if you join investor.bet Racing, you're locked in for the 50 unit profit guarantee. That means if we don't make 50 units throughout the spring carnival, then you get 3 months added to your investor.bet Racing membership completely free. You just have to be a member throughout the spring in order to be entitled to that promotion. It'd be awesome to have you in part of investor.bet Racing. Remember, horse racing is the most profitable thing you can bet on because there are so many mistakes in the markets. Like right now, if I just bring up these markets for you to see like all the runners and everything, when you go through and you're betting on horse racing, you have so many different options of where to find value in these races. It's not like a sports game where you're taking team A or team B and deciding who's going to win. There's so many different ways you can approach betting on it. For me personally, I'm always looking to back horses where I believe their winning chance is greater than the odds that. For me personally, I'm always looking to back horses where what their winning percentage that I think is greater than what their current odds suggest. But the really cool thing is these markets are always moving. So when these odds first go up on Wednesday, they're changing from then all the way through till the race starts on the Saturday afternoon. So you have plenty of time to get the price that you want about a horse, wait for it to drift out or take it early before it shortens. So you're able to extract value way more often than taking just a few cents of value on sports. So it's really good from that perspective. And that's part of the reason why you can make so much out of it. Also, with so many races, it gives you a lot more options to bet from. You're not just limited to a certain number of games. You have so many races every day. For me personally, I'm betting Wednesdays, Saturdays, and then any other metro meetings. So over the next few months, we've got Friday nights coming up, and then the public holidays and the feature days like the Melbourne Cup, Oaks Day, that kind of thing, all throughout as well. So exciting times ahead. If you want to follow all the racing selections, get the 25 plays for tomorrow and also for the weeks ahead, just go to the link in the description, create your account, and you'll get access straight away. All the plays and the video previews. Similar to this, I do a video preview where I go through and share with you exactly why I'm backing each horse. So not only you know the horse to back, how much to stake on it, but also the full reason why I'm backing that horse. So you're also learning as you go as well. This will be the last weekend, so by Sunday night, you want to have joined to lock in for that 50 unit guarantee, which at the moment we've been in a bit of a grind. So it's currently looking like everyone who's joined will get that 50 unit. The last few weeks, we've been having a lot of horses run second. So there is a potential that those extra 3 months free might be coming your way, depending how we go over the next month and a half or so. We're over 250 units up on the year, and I really want to push that number closer to 400 by the end of December, which definitely is possible, and I'm excited to help everyone keep on profiting on racing.